Hello, my name is Cole Miller. Today I'm going to talk about Garmin and their strategy shift of producing mainly GPS units to now producing wearable technology such as smartwatches. We'll start with the external environment of the GPS industry. Just a quick overview. In 2017, it was worth $34.888 billion and it's expected to grow to $83.353 billion by 2022. Now, the scope of the GPS market covers handheld GPS units like someone would use for hiking, wearable technology with GPS, such as smartwatches, car GPS units, GPS dog collars, which Garmin makes, marine GPS units, aviation units, and cameras with built-in GPS technology. Two of the biggest trends in this industry are the increased use of GPS tracking units, mainly from supply chain logistics companies who purchase them to track and monitor shipments and their transportation. They can tell where a shipment is at all times, as well as monitor the activity and routes of their drivers. And the second would be GPS integration. And GPS integration is essentially adding GPS capabilities to our everyday life, not so much with only navigation, but also with kind of tracking and locating things. A lot of car companies have GPS units in their car so that if the vehicle is stolen, they can track the car and then recover it. And they're also looking at technology such as having a GPS-enabled wallet. So where if you would lose your wallet, you would find out its exact location. I conducted a pest analysis that's political, economical, social, and technological analysis of this GPS industry. Some political factors I found included increased regulations on international trade, mostly sanctions from and against the United States, and regulations placed on how the GPS units work, whether it's FAA or FCC regulations. Some economical factors were due to the health of the economy, Americans in particular have more disposable income. And this product can also be sold across global markets. I mean, GPS is kind of a technology that is global. Some social factors were the rise of wearable technology such as smartwatches. I know I see a lot of people nowadays with iWatches, Samsung watches. I know Fossil, another watchmaker, makes a smartwatch. And kind of in line with that, we see a rise of a more active population. And a lot of these wearable techs are kind of geared towards that, whether they tell you how many steps you've walked, how far, your heart rate, things like that. Lastly, some technological factors are the want and need for greater tech GPS integration, which I spoke of earlier, and the large R&D capabilities that are available to these companies nowadays. I mean, we'll get into the financials later, but you can see they're spending a lot of money into research and development. Now, for rivals and competition within the consumer GPS market, I kind of had to break it down into two things, before the rise of smartphones and after the rise of smartphones. Before the rise of smartphones, you had companies like Magellan and TomTom who made, GPS units for your car. You'd buy one, you'd maybe have to update them every once in a while, but simple, you plugged in your address and they took you to wherever. Back in 2006, I believe it was, we had a family trip out in western United States, and we had a Garmin GPS, and we used it for everything for navigating. Now, of course, after smartphones, you have companies like Apple and Samsung who now have their own proprietary applications for GPS navigation. And I didn't have it's not on here, but I even include Google with Google Maps, which is what I use constantly on my iPhone. For a 5 forces analysis, I really broke it down into the GPS units and wearable technology. For GPS units, you have high buyer power being the biggest factor. I mean, frankly, there's just not that many people looking to purchase these units nowadays as there has been before, and this is due to the rise of smartphones. Now, but with the wearable tech segment, you have a high threat of substitution. Just in quick research, Apple, Samsung, Fossil, and Fitbit all make some form of wearable tech, and those are just the biggest ones. It's not counting any smaller foreign manufacturers. Overall, the industry is not very attractive. There's an ample number of substitutes across all of the markets and product type and companies. Definitely high barriers to entry given the large amount of R&D capital needed just to start research into this technology. You also have other factors like brand loyalty. That's especially big in the wearable tech market with Apple and Samsung. And these existing competitions offer a diverse range of products for customers. I mean, I'll talk about this later, but Garmin itself has 27 different models of smartwatches. And I know Apple has different styles of smartwatches as well. Now we're going to look at the internal environment of the GPS market in regards to Garmin. Garmin employs over 11,000 people in 60 locations around the world. Their mission statement is, quote, to be an enduring company by creating superior products for automotive, aviation, marine, outdoor, and sports that are an essential part of our customers' lives. The vision statement is, we'll be the global leader in every market we serve, and our products will be sought after for their compelling design, superior quality, and best value. Lastly, their value statement is, the foundation of our culture is honesty, integrity, and respect for associates, customers, and business partners. Each associate is fully committed to serving customers and fellow associates through outstanding performance and accomplishing what we say we will do. Now, looking at Garmin's HR and corporate culture, you can really see their value statement starting to come through. They offer healthcare at varying coverage levels, as well as a 75-cent match to dollars put into 401k, up to 10% of the employee's compensation. They also offer 15% company stock purchase discount, $7,000 a year in tuition reimbursement, assistance for ground and pilot schools, and benefits to employees during events that they sponsor. Now, all of these CSR initiatives help keep active, engaged employees who are happy to work and proud to work for their company. Delving into Garmin's financials, their stock had a drop from late 2007 through 2008, meaning they were not immune to the recession that occurred during that time. Now, the highest the stock has ever traded at was in September of 2007 at $119.40 a share, and after that, the lowest it's been is November 2008 at $17.03 a share. It's currently, at the time of this recording, August 8, 2018, trading at $64.42. Now, this is the stock over time since its inception in, I believe, the year 2000, all the way up until today. And you can see the massive drop that occurred kind of 2007, 2008 into 2009. And if you can tell, there was only a stock split in, looks to be about 2006. So this was not a stock split that caused the stock price to go way down. Revenue for Garmin shows a steady increase over the last 5 years, except for the year 2015, and I have an illustration showing this in a minute. Now, the cost of goods sold, interesting enough, remained relatively level throughout this time. And R&D had a massive jump from $364.92 million in 2013 to $511.62 million in 2017. Now, looking at the financial statements here, you can see that in 2005 they had a small drop in revenue and sales, but they seem to have made it up in 2016. And looking at the 5-year trend, you can see it's mostly positive. With research and development expenses, that has grown as well over that time. Now, looking at Garmin's strategy shift, it's worth noting that with GPS units, they now compete against smartphones. Now, prior to the smartphone, it was common for people to buy GPS units for driving around because, let's face it, nobody wants to use a map anymore. And these would either mount to the car's windshield and sat on the dashboard. I'm sure a lot of us had them back then. Now, however, phones are smaller than these GPS systems. They're more convenient, easier to carry. They're on or near people at all times. And they also offer greater technological capacity. Now, I haven't used a Garmin or a TomTom or Magellan GPS unit recently, but I know with things like Google Maps, it'll give me real-time traffic updates, showing me where traffic's heaviest, where I'm supposed to expect it. And also, even if I'm underway, it will prompt me to take a faster route if it's discovered one. Now, with wearable technology, they're really taking advantage of this whole new market and kind of the whole scope of what they can do with this market. As mentioned before, they now offer 27 different models of smartwatches. Each ones have varying degrees of features and capabilities, and styles and price points as well. So you can get one that's maybe designed more for hiking. It's kind of bigger, more durable looking, more features. Or they make one that's sort of a hybrid of analog and digital. So it has regular watch hands, but it has a digital interface to tell you of reminders and appointments. I conducted a SWOT analysis at Garmin and found some of their strengths to be high brand recognition for their varied products, as well as a hearty R&D budget, as we saw earlier, to perfect both their current tech as well as pursue new lines of technology. Along with it, they're also known for the quality of their products. I know a couple people that have Garmin hiking GPSs, and they swear by them, as well as people back then that had the GPS car units. Now for some weaknesses, they offer many different types of products, and I mean a lot. We're talking 27 different models of smartwatches, just to name a few. They also offered varying models of hiking GPSs, dog collars. That's a lot of product to keep a hold of, as well as a high R&D cost to further research for each of those product lines. Now for some opportunities, we have the technology integration like we talked about earlier, the rise of a wearable tech market, as well as a more active and tech-savvy generation that's wants to be able to use these new technologies. For some threats, we had foreign manufacturers who can make cheaper products at a cheaper price, and as well as substitutes with more compatibility, such as Apple Watch is going to have the most compatibility with iPhones, and Samsung with Samsung phones. So kind of use this SWOT to their advantage. Some strengths they can use to help minimize weaknesses is to use their brand recognition to push all of these different models they offer, as well as utilize this R&D budget to improve all of the models, because if they fall behind, they can lose market share. And lastly, keep up this great product quality that they're known for. Using opportunities to minimize threats would be keeping ahead of the competition, both technologically and in quality, with these new integration features, and kind of cater to this active tech-savvy generation by working with your main companies, in this case in the US market would be Apple and Samsung, to allow better compatibility with their devices. Now for my recommendations for Garmin. First off, as I said before, they offer a lot of different products, and 27 different models of smartwatches is just a start. I really would urge them to look at each product segment and consider cutting down the number of products they offer. It's not only expensive to make these products, but also to keep them in inventory and keep up R&D on them. Second, as I mentioned before, would be to work with Apple and Samsung to kind of help allow better device compatibility between the companies. Third would be to push the marketing features of their smartwatches, the unique features, and those would be things that whether the other competitors just don't have, or the features that are better than the other companies. Fourth would be to continue with R&D into better battery life, better durability, and more integration that's across all of their product lines. And lastly, it would be to keep up CSR and employee initiatives. I know in my just informal research, a lot of people said that Garmin was a great company to work for, and that when they worked there, they were always, happy to do their job. Well, that's all I have here for Garmin. Thank you so much for watching. And here are the sources used in this research.